and welcome to our newest edition of Beyond the Politics, our regular examination of the events happening right here in the Quinte region and the people who work so hard behind the scenes to make it all happen. I'm your host, Paul Martin. Joining me, Mayor and Mayor-elect for the City of Quinte West, Jim Harrison.
Yes, thanks, Paul, for the invite, and it's a pleasure to be here. And yes, I'm quite pleased with the election results, and I will continue to work hard to the best of my ability for all the residents of the City of Quinte West. And thank you very much for putting your trust in me.
Well, let's start right there. So the election results came in. You had around 55% of the vote, as I recall, which is like 10% margin wins, good win. This is your third term as mayor, and of course you've been on Quinte West Council for a long time now. So is it still as exciting for you as it was when you first came in? And how was this win compared to the first two wins for mayor?
They're all very rewarding, very rewarding. I have a good team who work with me and work for me and help me and direct me, and I worked hard, my wife as well, my family, and I appreciate all the support that I've had. I had in the election, but I had before the election, and I appreciate the opportunity to be mayor and to be here with you. What do I enjoy most? I enjoy getting out to be with people and getting out and understanding how they see things as opposed to the way I see them, and that helps me a lot in everyday politics. So I'm proud and I'm thankful.
Now, for people who don't have your level of experience, and I don't want you giving away any trade secrets, but how long does it take to put together a mayoral campaign, and how early do you start working on it in terms of recruiting people and getting people lined up behind the scenes?
Well, I would say in my case I never stopped. I have a team that worked with me all through the 4 years I was mayor, the last 4 years, and when it comes time I put my name forward, I made sure I had those people with me, and they agreed to help me and work for me and work with us, and that's exactly the way I do it. I enjoy every day, and I really enjoy the opportunities to be mayor and to be out and meeting people and telling the 5 words that I believe. Quinte West is the best.
Now, this campaign also different. This was all electronic voting in Quinte West. We'll talk about that in a second. But one of the things that means is the results come in really quickly.
Yes.
So you and I have both been around long enough. Do you remember days when it was ballots only, extensive counting, and you didn't know till 11, 11:30, after midnight in a lot of cases, especially if it was close. Yeah. How is it different in that the results came in so quickly? Like, what was the mood at your campaign headquarters, and how quickly did it become apparent that it was over?
Well, we were anxious. The results didn't come as quickly as I had hoped they would, but they did come relatively quickly, and as a result, I knew very early where I stood, and I also knew who was elected as council, and so in that respect, it was great. I know the process wasn't what you'd say accepted by many people, and we'll certainly take a look at our process and do what we can to make it better for the next election.
What did you think of the turnout? Now, what people may not know is voter turnout was just under 30%, but more people in terms of absolute numbers voted this time than last time in Quinte West. So there wasn't really much change between 2018 and this election. But would you have liked to have seen it be higher than 30%?
Yes, I would love to see it higher.
And how do you do that?
Well, I think that's part of the process that we used this time was annoying to many people. And yes, people tend to like the paper ballot, and I think there are things that we can do with the process and make it better next time, and maybe include the paper ballot as well as the other system that we use this time, and telephone as well. So, but all those things have to work so that everything is above board and everything is honest and correct and accurate. There's we can't have something where there's room for any kind of trickery or whatever, fraud.
Sure.
That's not part of the system.
A few thoughts on your opponents. So, of course, the two other people running for mayor were Karen Sharp and Claude Dulude. How did you feel the campaign was run, and what could you say about the people who ran against you?
I think they both ran a good campaign. Karen ran an excellent campaign, had great supporters, a great team, and I worked hard. My team worked hard as well. So I'm proud of what she did, and will always be.
What do you think of the incoming council? So let's talk about general results first. So there was no change in Murray Ward and no change in Frankfurt. But there were some big changes in Ward 1 Trenton and Ward 2 Sydney. And let's start with Ward 1. So it is almost unheard of, with a few notable exceptions, like, for example, Ryan Williams in Belleville, for someone to come in and lead the polls your very first crack. In many cases, it takes 2 or 3. So that I'm talking about Zach Carter.
I'm not saying you're incorrect, and it's likely true, but when you work hard, when you decide that you want to run for council or anything, and you want to be prepared to work hard. And if you work hard, you can do it. And I think that's exactly what was demonstrated by this last election. I know Zach Card worked very hard, and he did a great job. He did a great job out there talking to people, expressing his ideas and what he'd like to see happen. And I really congratulate him and thank him very much for doing it. And I think the same in Sydney Ward. I think people worked hard, and they got out and talked to people and listened to them, and people responded accordingly,
So talking about the rest of the council and some of the other changes, leading Ward 2 was Edgerton Boyce, someone who we all know was a councillor in Belleville Ward of Belleville for 15 years. This was his first time running in Quinte West and Sydney Ward, and he led the polls in Ward 2. So how do you see, does he become a rather unique asset to the council as someone not only with a lot of experience, but someone who has experience with another municipality?
Oh, I think so, definitely, yeah. I definitely think he's got a lot to offer, and make sure, yes, that we all work together to move forward, and I'm sure he's a team player and will realize that. So, yeah, and I'm sure he's gathered a lot of information from the residents, and we'll try to put that all together and try to harness it and help us move forward and reach out to different sections. It's I live in Murray Ward, and it's a long ways over to the east side of Eagleton Road. So, it's important that I realize that and that we reach out to those areas. Heisman Road, Eagleton, River Valley, all of those places are part of Quinte West, and we've got to reach out to those people.
Now, there were also some high-profile names from past councils that will not be there anymore. Of course, Karen, because she ran against you for mayor, but also Al DeWitt and Leslie Roseblade. Both were not reelected. What can you say about the contribution they have made to council, and how much you'll be missing them on the upcoming council?
Oh, they were all excellent council members, and did their job and had respect of the ratepayers and voiced their concerns and helped us make a number of changes that make Quinte West much more attractive and better as a city and a better place to live and do business. So I appreciate all they've done. Freddie Kuipers is another one.
Yeah.
Freddie worked hard too, always did, and I'm sure they will continue. John McDonald, who is part owner of the Huskies, called me and said, look, we'd like to do something to help our neighbors. And I said, great idea, because they were hit with that storm and much damage. And so I got a hold of Tom DeLine and said, Tom, we'd like to we'll bring 2 teams to Medak to play a game of hockey. And we'll cover all the costs. All you've got to cover is ice time. That's it. Everything else was looked after by the owners of the teams. And we went there and played a great game, fantastic hockey game. Good hockey, and the Huskies won, which even made it more. But people were happy. People were really happy with the idea and thankful and appreciative. And that's what it's all about. In this case, helping your neighbor. They raised $2,200 or in that area that will be shared amongst the municipalities to help them with their relief and help move forward and fix or repair whatever. But great gesture by all involved, and I thank the team owners for what they did and all the people who contributed to that night.
Speaking of athletic competition and going far afield, shout out to Pat Millington and Greg King from the Quinte West Fire Department. They recently competed at the World Firefighter Combat Challenge in Utah, south of the border, and brought home a few medals, including a couple of golds and a silver for Greg. How great was it to see them representing Quinte West and doing so well on an international stage? Yeah,
world champions. Yeah, world champions from the city of Quinte West competing in the Combat Challenge. Greg just never stops. He's just a trainer and a trainer and a trainer. He loves what he does and does what he loves, and he's a great asset to our fire department, to our city, and to any individual that's interested in any of that kind of activity, because you follow his lead, you'll certainly enjoy and be well rewarded for your strenuous achievement.
Speaking of firefighters, John Whalen, of course, the chief of the Quinte West Fire Department, is co-chairing Red Nose Quinte and giving back to the community again. It's a program I know that is near and dear to your heart. What can you say on behalf of John and to all the volunteers who work as part of that program again?
Well, you know, Red Nose has been going on for a long time. Watts, what was his first name?
Rick.
Rick Watts. He was a great ambassador to Red Nose, and a great ambassador for all of us. Making sure Red Nose is very simple. It provides you with a ride home if you need a ride. Call and somebody will be there to pick you up and take you home. And I've done it. I've just been a driver or passenger as all that I've been for a number of years. But John has taken on the role, and John's the kind of guy that when he says I'll do it, he'll do it well. He will, and I know he will. And I'm proud of him for taking this on. And yeah, again, trying to make our roads safe, trying to make the holiday season joyous for everybody.
Okay, we're just under a minute. One last shout out to Taylor Russett of the Grind and Vine, who not only won a recent Best New Business at the local tourism awards, but also won the Tourism Industry Association of Canada's 30 Under 30 Achiever Award, putting Quinte West on the map.
Yeah, and congratulations to Taylor. He's a great young entrepreneur. He's got several different businesses that he works on a continuous basis, keeps all his ducks in order so he knows where he's got to be and what he's got to do, and does a great job with all of it. So congratulations, Taylor. He comes from a farming background.
Of course.
And, yeah, you should say of course, you're right. He's got good work ethics, great guy to talk to, a great guy to hang out with and see what he does and know what he does. So, yeah, all the best, Taylor. Keep it up, and may the Grind and Vine just continue to prosper.
Just another reason that Quinte West is the best. This has been Beyond the Politics with Quinte West Mayor Jim Harrison.
Yeah, and he's